at the end of the day, I'm just a super powerful believer in the power of, collaboration is the word that I would use. Just friendships, relationships, and you got to make sure you're getting good information from good people, too.
This is the Planet Laundry Podcast. I'm your host and the editor of Planet Laundry Magazine, Bob Nieman. And today I'm with Dave Menz, the Laundromat Millionaire. Dave is an author, a laundry coach, a multi-store owner based in the Cincinnati area. Dave, thank you for being here.
Thanks, man. Anytime I can chat with you, I'm happy to.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to come right out of the gate and say, what's the biggest misconception that people have about this business? Maybe prospective investors, new owners?
I think the biggest misconception, other than the stereotypical, it's a passive business, because people still believe that stuff. Other than something stereotypical like that, I think the answer to the question is that there aren't enough profit margins to build layers of management to give a laundromat owner the lifestyle that they want. And I always attributed this to like what I call the full service laundry center model, which is our model. So in the past, whatever you could generate from self-serve and a little bit ancillary from vending was pretty much all you were going to get. Maybe you made a little bit of money from drop off. Yeah. But there's a whole new level to it now. And like within our business model specifically, at what we call our superstore, our self-serve revenue dwarfs what we make in drop-off laundry, dry cleaning, pickup, and delivery. And so, you choose what you do with that money, right? But what we choose to do with a good portion of it is reinvest it into layers of management. And we have a leadership team that runs our entire organization. And it gives us the freedom to, quite frankly, do Laundromat Millionaire and coaching and conferences and podcasts and workshops and all the things.
All the ancillary
people
stuff.
think I have more time than them. And I'm like, no, I really don't. I just have an amazing team. And I get that from running a different type of business model.
That's a game changer. Absolutely. Dave, if you care to answer it, what's the biggest mistake you've ever made in this business and how did you overcome it?
Oh, goodness. I have made a lot of mistakes. The biggest one, you're asking for the biggest one. The biggest one is growing too fast at different times. I tend to be a little excitable. You probably haven't noticed that, Bob. But I tend to be a little bit excitable. And that's not necessarily a bad thing in and of itself, but we started with really no money. And so pretty much everything we've built was on the back of leverage. And there was times during our journey when we were over leveraged. And there's healthy leverage, there's risky leverage, and then there's unhealthy leverage. And at times we've been in that unhealthy place. Where, if I had it to do over again, I would have done what I've done, just done it a little slower. And how did I get out of it? I worked my butt off. You can build equity pretty quickly. You just keep making those payments even when they're painful. You start to build some equity in that direction. And then you're usually within a few years, you can take that leverage and refinance and create some additional cash flow and kind of buy yourself a little bit of breathing room. And that's ultimately how we got out of it.
It's that grit that you talk about so often.
It is. It is, but it isn't always a good thing. I dug us out of it more than once. But if I had to do over again, I'd say, hey, Dave, how about you just quit doing that to begin with? And Carla would agree, by the way.
Absolutely. Hey, what advice do you have for prospective laundry owners, maybe that you thought you knew or you wish you knew 10 years ago? When you were first starting to build your business?
That's a great question, Bob.
Tip, strategy, anything you could give to someone who's doing their due diligence.
I mean, times are different now for sure, but the truth of the matter is, I always knew how important mentorship and coaching and conferences and workshops were. But if I'm honest, I didn't know what I know now. And so I think more and more every day, laundromat owners coming in the industry, one, I think they have that advantage just because of podcasts like this. We're sharing information more transparently than ever before. So I do think they know more of these things than maybe we think they do. But I guess what I'm telling you, Bob, is double down, triple down on that. That stuff is exponentially powerful. Whether it could be a paid coach or a paid mentor, it could be a relationship with a distributor, it could be a relationship with a guy that owns 6 laundromats an hour away. I mean, there's a lot of variations
of ways to do
that.
It.
Yes, but at the end of the day, I'm just a super powerful believer in the power of collaboration is the word that I would use. Just friendships, relationships, and I mean, you got to make sure you're getting good information from good people, too.
Right. Great points. Great points. Last one for you, Dave, and I really appreciate your time because I know you're busy.
Yeah.
Where do the greatest opportunities lie for this industry and for the laundromat business going forward?
Greatest opportunity. Well, so there's one for laundromat owners, and then maybe a different one for us.
Let's talk laundromat owners.
Okay. So for laundromat owners, the greatest opportunity out there is definitely optimization.
Okay.
It's definitely going a little full circle here, but back to that full service laundry center. In the past, you were limited by the facility that you built and your demographics. And there really wasn't much else to the equation. I mean, operations mattered. But nowadays, there's 100 different ways to skin that cat, as they say. And it's just, I mean, the sky is opening up to our industry. I mean, companies bringing technology into the industry, the collaboration, I'm talking the transparency, the authenticity, the additional opportunities of networking. I mean, all this stuff.
It's a perfect storm.
It really, I honestly, Bob, I believe in my heart of hearts that we are living right now in a renaissance that our industry is experiencing. And I'm not that old, but when I think about, I like to study our history of our industry. I mean, our industry's been around for roughly 75 years now. And so when you think about the fact that it didn't change a lot in those 75 years, it really didn't. And we are living through a renaissance. Like, people ask me why I get geeked out and why I'm so optimistic. That's why. I think we're doing it right now.
Perfect. Hey, I'm going to give you the last word. Anything I didn't ask you? Anything you'd like to get out there to people listening to this podcast right now?
It's going to sound like a shameless plug, but I promise Bob didn't prod me on this. It's that you need to be at the next Excellence in Laundry. You need to be at the next Wash Dry Fold conference. You need to be at the next distributor show, whether it's local, the next informal laundromat owners meetup, which people are just kind of springing up everywhere. You need to connect with other people because not everyone does that. But you know who does that? The best of the best.
Absolutely.
That's who's at these events and the even informal events is the best of the best, the people that are always trying to get better. You want the best information. You want the most transparent information. You want some of the sharpest people in the industry. That's where it happens.
Perfect. Let's leave it right there. Dave, thank you so much.
You got it. Thanks for having me, Bob.
You bet.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on our podcast today. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to Planet Laundry at PlanetLaundry.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube.